Welcome into Coach's Corner. I'm Jordan Woodruff. Great to have you along as always. And today we're talking some golf. Wendy Landes is with us. And good to have you along as it may be a little chilly the day we're filming this for golf, but it is getting close to the season, and you got some tournaments coming up here soon.
I do. We actually open up tomorrow with our first JV tournament. We're going to play a sophomore tournament down in Westwood for Norman. Temperatures do look a little bit cold, but we get days like today to practice in, so they're kind of used to it.
You know, with golf, I think it's interesting because it's kind of like the other sports, but with golf, the wind can just be killer, especially for young kids that haven't maybe played in it. Like, this isn't pros, right?
Yes.
That have played in it a lot. But in Oklahoma, if you're going to golf, you have to deal with the wind. And when you're golfing in March and April, the wind's always a factor, isn't it?
It's brutal, and it's frustrating. It's trying to get their timing down. They want to wait until it goes, and I'm like, it's just not going to go. So we're just going to have to play in it. And so they're learning to tame their shots a lot. So we play, winds in the country club, which are closer to the lake. So we get lots of those lake winds anyway. So they're learning to tame those shots pretty good.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you have to coach that. I mean, keep that ball low.
Yes, like the worm killers. You want the worm killers. Keep them low. Keep them low.
Yeah, so it has to be challenging because, everybody wants to get that ball up in the air,
and that's
right?
what we teach them. Get it up. And then you're like, no, get it down.
Yeah, well, you've had a lot of success with the program, and we've seen a lot of growth there. You were telling me 14 girls this year, the biggest we've seen for Ponca Golf.
It is. When I came in 4 years ago, I only had 3 girls, and they brought me in, and that was the year Cindy was a state champion, and it's kind of just kept growing year after year. And this year, we had a Forge tryout, and I have 14 girls playing, so it's pretty exciting to have to actually do pairings in practice, and it's like we actually have to space out. It's kind of a new concept I think we're all trying to get used to, but it does keep growing, and there's more coming in next year with the junior high program.
Yeah, and you returned 2 state qualifiers as well.
Yes, Ava O'Shea and Kate Clark went with Emma Bartley last year to state, so those girls are back, and they're ready to go for another year. They want the whole team to qualify this time, so that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, and as far as tournaments are concerned, second year in a row, you're going to be hosting a regional coming up as well. And I know that's challenging hosting the regional, but it's also a great home field advantage for your players.
It is. I got a call from OSSA and from Vicki asking if we would be a host site again, and of course I volunteered. We do get that kind of course advantage, but people come up here and play those courses a lot too. So it's exciting to have. It's a nerve-wracking kind of, you want everything to go perfect, but I have so much help through the OSSA and through everyone working here with and Coach Levitt and everybody helping me. So it's not as nerve-wracking as it was my first couple of years.
Is there something though when they ask you 2 years in a row to host it? I mean, it makes you feel good because you did it right the last year, right?
It does. Apparently they liked it well enough to have us back. So this is the first year we're not hosting conference, so we have to go somewhere else for conference. But we had hosted conference 3 years in a row. So it's kind of nice to keep getting to host the bigger tournaments. It kind of makes you feel a little bit good about your program.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the girls that you have this year and some of the impact ones. You had the 2 state qualifiers coming back as we talked about, but also there'll be some other girls in there that will make some impact for your team.
There, we have a kind of a variety. We have some freshmen, sophomores, some juniors, and then I still have some seniors. Riley Rowe's been playing all 4 years, and she's a senior. We've got Kate Branstetter as a senior. Jackie is a senior. Then we've got some juniors, Ava being one of those juniors with Josie and Madeline. Madeline's first year to play golf, but she's coming along really well, and that's a whole slew of sophomores. This whole group came in last year as freshmen, and they all returned, and they just got better over the summer. And then we rounded out with those 2 freshmen. So it's a well-rounded course, but they work well together, and it's exciting to see how they kind of compete and play off of each other.
Well, I got one question I think that's pretty interesting when I think about it, because golf, and there's other sports too, but in golf, you really need to get out on the course. Mm-hmm. That's part of it. So, maybe some other sports, they can do some stuff inside, and maybe you do as well. But, you come right out of the winter, and it's right here on the course. So it's not one of those things where these girls or even the guys that are golfing as well, they can constantly get out there and get out there and get out there. It's kind of just like, hey, weather's good.
Yeah,
it's
and
season.
We're going. Yeah. It's kind of one of those things that any day that's nice, we're out there playing golf. And I know that, we had to play another 9. We have to play another 9. We have to play every day that it's nice. So yesterday we took full advantage of it. It was beautiful outside. And then today. So we're going to still play outside because they have to get used to it, but we take what we have in Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, and you never know what days you can't play either because the rain.
Sometimes it might rain, and you never know what's going to happen. So I'm hoping we can get to Norman tomorrow and they don't call it off. So
and you also get to the situation on the courses too, because the courses are going to look totally different in just a few weeks when it starts greening up.
Oh, so much prettier when it's greened up. It's so much prettier when we like it better when it's greened up. But it's kind of like you wish you'd play in the fall when it's all pretty. But we're so used to playing in the spring now, so we just like to get our tournaments in.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the maybe expectations you have for your team this year. So when you look at it and all the girls you have, the numbers growing, golf. It can be tough because especially some of those suburb schools that have access to really, really great courses, it makes it really tough sometimes, and people don't realize that. Not that we don't have great courses up here to play, but it's just the numbers and everything maybe aren't the same as they are some other places. So talk about what your expectations are this year, what you would consider a good year.
Well, last year taking 3 was something that I was completely, it was one of those better moments that you have as a coach to be able to qualify 3 at regionals and, missing qualifying a 4th by 1 stroke. So, we almost had that whole team in there. But this year, just looking at their scores from last year, this year, and seeing they're so much better. So they actually did practice in the off season. A lot of them do get private lessons. We have, some indoor simulator stuff that we can use at Wentz, and then we're working on getting a room here at the high school. But I want a whole team, and I think that's where we're headed. I think we might get a whole team into state this year because they're being competitive right now, and that's where I like them.
Yeah, no doubt, and you certainly hope that will be the case.
Yeah.
Now, when you also you kind of look at your team, and I think some people, how does the scoring and everything, we're all used to going out and hitting the golf balls, but when it comes to high school and how the scoring, how is it different, and how do they look at things? How do you get people qualified?
We have qualifying matches a week or 2 before our next tournament, and then we rank them 1 to 14. Our top 5 will go with varsity. Our next 5 will go to JV. So it's a constant competition. These girls want those top coveted 5 spots. One being your 1 bag, which is your best overall, and then those middle 6 through 10 are who plays JV for me. And then we have some freshman tournaments for just our freshmen, but they're completely competitive and trying to beat each score. We play 9 in the first day and 9 in the second day, and they don't get to miss a qualifier or they're not in the competition. So right now it's like they're a friendly teammate, but they're like gunning for
it's
that
ranking
spot.
matches, basically,
It
right?
is 100%. Because we'll take those scores and like, well, we want you to score this tomorrow, and then they go out and work hard to get it.
So what is a good scores? Because like I said, sometimes we all watch, college golf or even pro golf, and you're like, okay, they're like 8 under, and that's what's going to win a tournament. When you're looking at your team, and let's just say your regional here at your home course, what is a good score that puts you in the hunt?
We want our girls to be in that, high 70s, low 80s. We want them under 100. Like last year, we struggled with that, getting them higher scores up there. When we had Sydney here, she was always in the 70s. Kate Clark has the capability of scoring in the 70s as well as Josie. As long as we're keeping in that 70 to 80 range, I think we're going to be competitive at state. We'll be competitive with those schools like Edmond and Jinx.
Yeah, and what's the difference in philosophy as far as coaching? Because golf is such a mental type game.
100% mental.
And I know every other sport is too, but the coaching, maybe the intensity, you want to be intense, but you may not be as intense as a basketball or football coach.
Yeah, when they get inside their head, it's the best thing to do is just calm them down. When on a game of a tournament, we're not fixing strokes and we're not fixing swings. We're just out there trying to keep them in that, in that level-headed, where they're not compounding it each time, because when they hit that bad ball, if they compound it, the next ball is going to be bad, then the next ball is going to be bad. So we just try to get them where they're focused on that one good shot every time.
Yeah, you don't do anything like on the movie Tin Cup where he's trying to fix his swing.
Yeah, we're not throwing globes. Yeah, so we just try to keep them calm down on every shot. Give them lots of snacks, keep them happy.
Yeah, I like the snack idea. So that is part of the reason I used to go to the golf course with Dad and just drive around for the snacks. Yeah,
we get them lots of good snacks. That's exactly it. Lots of good snacks, and it keps them happy.
All right. Well, anything else we need to get into before we go?
If you guys are interested in watching some golf, we are hosting the pre-regional tournament on the 21st of this month. So it'll be on March 21st, Tuesday at the Country Club. So we'll be out there all day with schools from all over the state since it's a pre-regional. So I think we have 16 teams in that tournament. So it'll be a big one.
And pre-regional, I'm sure it's maybe not as important. It's important for you to kind of how you're going to host.
Yes.
Which you have experience from last year, but also for the other schools to come up and play the course,
right?
They
get to come up and see the Country Club, so it helps them out too. So it's a fun day. It's a good day. So if you want to come out and watch some golf, come out and watch us.
Yeah, 21st, right?
The 21st.
So get out there on the 21st and enjoy. So appreciate your time,
Thank
Wendy,
you.
and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you so much.
Wendy Landes, of course, with Girls Golf, and get out there and enjoy that pre-regional and the regionals coming up in the next month as well out there with the country club. So that's going to do it for our Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff saying so long until next time, and go Cats.